Alright, before we get started, I reworked the effects because I think squares are just a lot better looking. And the old one, I tried to make it similar to the movie, but it just doesn't look good in game. So I switched it to a more game cool looking one, and this actually, I like this a lot better, so we're gonna roll with it. So the changes I made to this one is I made the particles a lot smaller, and instead of the smoke, it's just squares because the squares just match up with the environment a lot more. And using some C-frame rotations, I made all of them. It still goes in a it goes into a 6-pronged circle, and then I bend them backwards. So like, let's say this is the particle emitter right here. So first I do it like this, obviously, and then as it loops, it rotates around here. But after it loops like this, I turn it back even more, and it should make it all the explosions face behind you at an angle. Cool little underrated trick that you can use is when you're getting a hit thing from like a touch event, or just something from you're trying to get a part. So you normally, if you ever tried this, if you do hit dot parent but hit is nil, it would just error. But if you put the hit condition first, then if hit is nil, it won't even attempt the second or any consequence conditions, which avoids errors. I'm gonna start the cutscene. I created this fog effect for when they get hit away, the fog follows them. So they're gonna, I say Bakugo hits 120 studs, and then Red Sea teleports right under him, uppercuts him into the air. He gets sent 100 studs up, and right after the uppercut, the camera will be like right up here doing this like orbiting thing, and then Red Sea's gonna appear right above him, drop kick him, and as he's plummeting toward the ground, we're gonna have Red Sea freeze time, teleport right in front of Bakugo, and hit a 1-2 barrage on him, and then that'll be the whole entire move. I don't know why, but this thing isn't like properly attached, but it's okay. So what I'm doing here is once it gets hit, we're gonna start the animation, and I'm just gonna animate it. The humanoid Rupa will stay the same, but the actual character will move. I'm gonna restart the animation, and it gave you a pretty good lesson that I should plan out the basic positions of each keyframe before I actually try to do it. Don't try to animate stuff on the fly unless it's like really basic. I'm not very good at animating, and I use the basic one and not like Blender or Moon Animator, but I like to like make parts, as you can see, to like help guide me where everything's supposed to go. And I'm adding this part to show where Bakugo is gonna get punched or uppercutted exactly. Kind of experimenting with trying to make the impact explosion. I'm thinking of a semicircle going forward like this, and here's what I got so far. There should be the explosion, and now the thing I need to test is probably to see if a particle emitter will track onto a humanoid being tossed around, because damn, this is the first time I'm making a super major cutscene. Pretty big mistake of setting the C-frame relative to the humanoid model instead of the missile, and sometimes you gotta make these mistakes to realize what needs to be done to improve your moveset, or just anything in general. For this time lapse, I'm just trying to integrate the script and try to sync up the animation with the other explosion effects, and you can see near the end where I get my final result of the lapse is I made the mistake of trying to sync up local side with server side. You should just, if you're gonna commit to one, if you want to sync stuff up, you gotta commit to one side. You have to put everything on the server side or put everything in the local side. And for this case, since I have to sync up the camera, I have to put everything on local side. To sync it up, obviously, I just make the animations play on the local side or load on the local side. But anyway, the majority of this time lapse is trial and error. I'm adjusting the tweens ever so slightly to try to see what looks the best, what makes this cutscene look the best. And I'm trying to sync it up with my vision, though. As you from this time lapse, it doesn't look very good right now. But that's because in my head, I'm trying to look for a certain way I want the cutscene to play out, to try to make it as good, as perfect as possible. And this is where I think most of the dev time goes in, is trying to perfect that cutscene or perfect the move, get that subtlety, that nicheness that makes the move stand out. And for this part, I'm trying to make the second part of the animation, and then the third part is when the barrage, the final part of it would be. And honestly, animating is kind of time consuming. This entire clip not sped up is 30 minutes. Damn. Now for this part, I decided to change it up a bit. I'm trying to make the camera stick on the victim's head to make it look disorienting as they fly up after getting uppercutted, instead of just having the camera above, because I thought that'd be better. But here, I took a lot of time trying to figure out what these different camera properties do. I'm gonna do the same trick as before. I get a block, and I use these blocks to sync up and indicate where I should like put the animation in, so it all looks super smooth. So this will represent the torso of Bakugo, and this will help me show where I should make the punches land. Right here, this here. All right, and this will be, well, where the bomb user will be doing their thing. Let me get this to work. There we go. One of the things I tend to do when coding is that I try to see if there's a easy like built-in Roblox way of achieving something, like trying to attach the what's called the camera to the humanoid's head. But in the end, there was no way that I could do to replicate the way I wanted to do. So I ended up wasting my time doing all that, researching all that. And then in the end, I just used run service to forcibly do it myself and to get what I want. So in most cases, I feel like if you're ever like broken between the choice of thinking there's something I could achieve easily or something that feels like I could do it with just a simple, Roblox built-in function, I suggest you just build your own function. It might be faster. In most cases, for me, it was. But alignment bug where it doesn't align because I'm trying to move the character model, but sometimes the head of the character is the primary part and it completely screws things up. And now I have the first test of it without bugs, and it looks, it looks terrible. And this is all part of the process. You gotta get your first draft and then revise it. It's just like an essay. Honestly, now I've reached this point, I've got a pretty decent looking draft going on. Right here, goes this, I gotta fix that camera part. And it flips here, and then you're going up, and you're like, oh shoot, he about to beat me up. And then we go into the main part of the cutscene. I wanted to make an eye zoom in part. Oh my god, it was pretty hard to do, I can't lie. After adding that eye bit, this is what we got. Honestly, it still looks pretty bad, but we haven't added sound or did some optimization. But you're gonna see by the end, it's gonna be cool. One thing when playtesting is that when you have a bunch of these windows out, your FPS drops by a lot. So if you want to properly test high FPS animations, you gotta close all of them first. Alright, I'm gonna end it here for today. I'll work on this next week. Maybe less than a week, because right now I feel like I got a really good template going. I just need to figure out why the animation looks like that. Maybe you can't run at more than 30 FPS or 60 FPS. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it will be a 3-part series, but who knows. I'll make sure it finishes by part 3. Alright, goodbye guys.